expectations in the first week or so.
Awesome. Hi everyone, Jesse here, Canine Perspective, and we're back with another highlight video. This one's regarding Lake, the anxious reactive Pittie that I posted up on my story, a couple weeks ago, and then I see her tomorrow, so I'm really excited to see her tomorrow, see the progress that they're making, because it was a complete 180 from her first class at my facility to her second class at Oz Park. So something about Lake is, we did that first training session because we had that storm come through a couple weeks ago that knocked out a lot of power across the city of Chicago, and so we held the training session at my facility because of the storm, and we weren't even in a realistic setting. We were just at my facility. We had a few dogs in the pen. She was still under duress. She was still stressed out and being reactive and stuff. And we did the training methods and everything, and then we went from there to class 2 right at Oz, and I was expecting to see some reactivity, expecting to have to dial her down a bit, but she showed up super passive. She only had one reactive moment while we were at Oz, and it was very easily corrected, and it just goes to show how effective e-collar can be when you know how to use it correctly, in my opinion. So one thing about Lake is that she actually had 2 previous trainers that had failed, and I had kind of forgotten about it until one of my clients, who's actually the owner's cousin, because she had referred them to me.
Yeah, we'll see, hopefully. I don't know if they told you in their conference they had 2 trainers fail.
I'm trying to remember, who's the dog name?
Lake. She's an aggressive pit bull.
Oh, that's her cousin?
That's my cousin Amy.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
I was telling her about you and with Luna's anxiety, and she was like, how does he do with aggression? And I was like, girl, calm.
So, I went back as I was putting together this video, just, gathering the clips and stuff, and I pulled out the consultation form. And I'll read what they put. So the question on the form is, how many trainers and what did you work on? One came to our apartment a few weeks after we got Lake. She stood against the wall while Lake was on a leash and barked at her during our entire consult. She told us our dog was aggressive and suggested Prozac, which we did not want to do. We did not have a second visit. We also had a few training sessions with, I'm not going to say the trainer's name, but in February, we worked on walking on a leash and getting Lake to look at us when a threat is near. We went to the facility to train in there. No results. And the one thing here was that, the first trainer said that their dog was aggressive, and that's something that I point out during that first session. This is fine. Curiosity, it's good. Good. So she didn't close her mouth. So what does that tell us?
Not nervous? Or she's passive right now?
Yeah, she's passive, right? So let's say she was legitimately up, down, up, down, and release. There you go. If she was legitimately aggressive, okay, when I came in, it would have been completely closed mouth, and she's going, I'm watching you, right? And then when I would step away, because there's no tension anymore, I'm out of the threat zone, okay?
Yeah.
So this is why when the word aggressive gets thrown around, I'm very cautious about it, okay? Aggression comes from somewhere. Anxiety, nervousness, fear, territorial, maternal, resource guarding, usually... I forgot, I did the consult stuff, forgot about the form. I vaguely remembered the name Lake and stuff, so I had an idea of what I was working with, but I wasn't up to date to it. They just show up and I just wing it, essentially. And during the consult, I talk about, I don't like throwing that word aggressive around. I use it very lightly because there's not a lot of real understanding behind it in the dog training world. And I don't mean we don't understand the aggression. I'm saying there's a lot of trainers that don't understand aggression. So she was just like, I don't know what to do here. I'm going to just give you the easy answer and just say Prozac, and let's say your dog is aggressive. Take my money and go. That's how I interpret that situation. The second trainer, I've actually trained a few of their ex-dogs, usually behavioral cases. and clearly they didn't get anything done, because you saw how Lake was when she came to my facility. And this is why, you know, I stress people, when you look for your trainer, do some research. You know, there should be videos on the stuff they work on. I actually took a look at their website just prior to doing this video, and it says like, we specialize in severe behavior cases and stuff. And I'm just like really like looking at it, I'm like, no, you do not, because I keep getting your cases. It's easy money, you know, and obviously working with behavior, it's a specialty. You can charge more and all that stuff, but I don't think it's right. I think that if you're going to be specializing in behavior, you need to be achieving results. Considerable change in the behavior. There should be a considerable change. There should be a result. And clearly she showed up to my facility, clearly needing help. And what we're going to... So go ahead and get your remote here. When she gets that intense, the last thing you want to do is get in front of her. Okay? What's your number at? 15?
19. I haven't tried it on her yet.
Okay, so we're going to press that 15 button. And I'm going to have you remove yourself from over. Yeah, like that. Okay? And Pam wants a 180 turn, just like this. Okay? She's going to get ahead. 180 turn, just like this. Just get used to that, okay? When you're doing this turn, you're also... And we were able to give her that through structure and discipline. So remember, always research your trainers, folks. So she showed up very anxious, overstimulated, under stress, and she was, you know, being reactive. And then the theory that when I approach these kind of cases, because I don't read them as an aggressive dog, I read them as a dog that's very stressed out. And when I put under more stress, especially when there's a threat, you know, including me, like if the dog doesn't know me, I'm a potential threat. And they go into self-preservation mode, kill or be killed. So it's like, I'm gonna, you know, bite you or attack you or whatever to protect myself, protect my family and all that stuff. So it's self-preservation. I get it. So the dog's not really aggressive. The dog's under stress and thinks that everything is a threat. So we need to calm them down, get them to focus, get them to just chill out and then perceive the world like they should be perceiving it. At least, you know, in the way that we understand it, that there are no real threats that they need to worry about, that that's on the human to address. And then we start to see them relax. So we use the concept of heal and discipline. And I go over that with the owners at the very beginning. And I go, this is how theoretically this should work. And we're going to see what happens. So what we're going to do today is we're going to use that number to teach you how to walk beside us in a heel position. I know our concern is behavior. Okay. We use the healing exercise, one, to deal with reactivity. We need some kind of reference point. Two, it settles dogs down. So Luna, right?
Yeah.
When I don't know if you saw Luna's first video.
We did it. I was like, oh, Elizabeth, there she is.
Yeah, you saw how like nervous she was?
Yeah.
Did you happen to see the second video?
I think I clipped of it, but I saw the first one. She wouldn't get out of the car, and
Yep.
then she was actually walking in with heel.
Yeah. So by the second class, it was night and day. Okay. So because discipline settles the nerves, and that's what we're hoping for here. So when I approach my cases, more often than not, we're using that heal command, the discipline, to see what does this fix. Okay, it's usually my approach when I come into a case that is not legitimately aggressive. Okay, an aggressive dog looks like this. So, as you can see, relentless, like kept going back, biting, a lot of aggression going on. Very easy to provoke. I just literally came in, the dog wanted to have at me, right? With a case like Lake, there's prerequisites that have to be met before she kicks into that state, you know, because she's under stress. So had I come in with the sleeve and did the test earlier in the training session, much more likely that we would have seen something, okay? And later on in the session, when she's calmed down, I go over to her and I point out a couple of things. She tensed for a moment, but then she's like, all right, cool, I'm calm, no need to worry about it. And she allowed me to touch her, and she even like engaged and started to smell my sleeve because now she's showing curiosity. So once you remove suspicion from the brain, it allows curiosity to come through. So this is why when I get these cases, The reason for the heel is I don't really care about the obedience of the heel. I care about the discipline that's going behind it, all the remoting that's going on, all the consequences that we're putting on the dog, to see what happens when we get that dog to just chill out, give it some physicality, which is what they need. Again, dogs bite each other. This is what they need to settle and to just chill out. And then I go, what needs to be addressed afterwards, right? So most of the time, the heel command will address like 70% of problems, including what we saw with Lake, which is why we got such a big shift from her so quickly. And from class 1 to class 2, it's just like a complete 180. Is because all she needed was just some formal structure, somebody that just lead her, give her some formal discipline, hold her accountable, give some consequences and appropriate consequences that she understood, and then it changed her, just a complete 180, right? And I wish all my cases were like that or like this, but they're not. Some of them are more nuanced, some of them have higher states of anxiety and things like that. But a lot of times, this is how it works. I come in, I do the heel command, we do the discipline, we do it my way, right? And I get a lot of dogs that come from previous trainers. Lake is just one of many. And dogs that were trained with e-collars as well, and in my opinion, they're trained wrong, because if they were trained correctly and the person knew what they were doing behaviorally, they would have gotten considerable change. The person would not have continued looking for a dog trainer, would ultimately not end up training with me, because the dog would already have been fixed. So here, we did the formal exercise. It's a super simple exercise, just a lot of back and forth, and then I hand off. We go from the mom to the dad, and then he's working with her, and then everything just transitions very quickly. And then I go, here's your homework, I'll see you in a week. And then we go to Oz Park, and then again, complete 180. And they've had 2 trainers, and the gentleman says at the very beginning, you exceed our expectations, and it's just been 1 week. So, it's kind of like such a surprise of just how quick this turnaround was, okay? And this is the difference between true behavioral trainers like myself and those that claim to be behaviorists. I don't care if they have a PhD, I don't care if it's a doctor or whatever, a veterinarian, I don't care how long they've been in business for. In terms of dog trainers, the person that they worked with previously, I think, has been around for 20 years is what I saw on the website, and clearly didn't get any results because, again, ultimately they were looking for a trainer to help address this issue, and we got it done within just 1 hour of my time at my facility, which isn't even a realistic context. And it just transitioned beautifully to the real world because of how I teach it, okay? So this is why I'm so adamant about using e-collars. This is why it's my go-to, whereas most trainers treat it as the last resort. Oh, I think your dog might need e-collar. No, it gives you off-leash reliability. You can make your dog return anytime, no matter what's going on. If they run away from a firework, if they're chasing a squirrel running towards the street, you can stop them, you can make them return. When we're dealing with aggression cases or reactivity cases, very simple for the average dog owner to just pick up, learn the concepts in the sense of how I teach them, and start applying them to real life. Because that's the main thing, is we're training for the real world. We're not training for this imaginary perfect world that allows you to avoid all threats and keep your dog below threshold, which is a big thing in the positive reinforcement community. They give all these unrealistic rules for people to live by with their reactive dog, and it makes their lives miserable because it's not realistic. E-collar and the way we approach training here at my facility is very realistic. This is why I've built my business over the course of 10 years. It's just training for reality, training for that moment. You're going to turn around the corner, there's going to be a dog there, you're going to be taken by surprise. How do we handle that situation? How do we regain control in case we lose it? So this is just one of the many cases that we get that we're able to achieve very great results very quickly, easily, that the owner can replicate and continue on as they go on with their dog. So I'm Jesse with Canine Perspective. Thank you for watching.